happy birthday if it's your birthday, happy belated birthday if it's in the past, happy future birthday if it's in the future. My name is Lime Green, and welcome back to the Out of Time podcast, the show, or I guess the podcast, where I've gotta play like a complete temple or dungeon all the way through, and then I basically tell you what I've thought about the whole experience. This is basically the first time I've played Ocarina of Time. I'm playing the 3DS version. I guess funnily enough. And then this is the Temple of Fire, I believe it is. And we're just continuing where we left off. From the Temple of Forest? I don't know. The Forest Temple, I guess. Where are we? So, I just turned on my game and took a couple steps, and Sheik was there, and she's like, you gotta be going to the mountains, or over the mountains. You gotta be going underwater, and even throughout time, or even through time. And that last one, I was like, you mean literally through time? We're gonna be solving the puzzle in the middle of time? That would be kind of cool. But I think they're saying, you know, the aforementioned thing, because literally right after this, Sheik said, if you go to bed as a child, you can refight some of the bosses if you want. And I thought that was kind of cool. I said in my notes, your bed has a use. And then I put, you can return to the original time. And then she gives you the Prelude of Light, which is another song I don't think anyone talks about, which means you can return to the Temple of Time. And then she says, as long as you hold the Ocarina of Time and the Master Sword, you hold time itself in your hands. And I thought that was actually really cool. It's like the coolest thing that happens, or that has been said in this game. And then you stick the Master Sword back into the pedestal, and for a second I was like, alright, how much is this actually gonna be like time travel? Or are they gonna, just turn me back into a kid and I'm just gonna be running around? But this is actually time travel. You actually get transported back before all of this happened. I gotta give them major props. Like, that was like mind-blowing to me. Mind-blowing. So then, the instant I realized that, I was like, we gotta go back to Lon Lon Ranch. We gotta get Epona, right? Because as an adult Link, I was like, uh-oh, I don't know the song. But I bet Malon in the past does. So I went to talk to Malon. Where is it? Or I went to Lon Lon Ranch, and then Talon, he's like, well, let's play Super Coco minigame. And then I got Lon Lon Milk in like a jar, so that's another jar for me. And then I learned Epona's song. I just wrote NG for the one note. Not sure what that means. went to the future. Then I went to the future, and I lost to... This is kind of hard to admit. I lost to the... What's his face? The Zelda Waluigi. That's why I wrote down Zelda Waluigi twice. I lost all my money. So I went, like, scrambling around in the wilderness. I found a fairy fountain out in the middle of nowhere. I was like, cool, it's gonna be a great fairy fountain. I'm gonna get, like, an upgrade. It was just a fairy fountain. So I was like, cool, I guess. And then I found Gerudo Valley, you know. That's like a terrible rendition. And I was like, is this gonna be a cool new area? And then I just dove off the side and got washed away into Lake Hylia. And then I retaught the Scarecrow the song, which my song was just a bunch of A's and then R. Make it real easy. I returned to Castletown, still looking for more money, and I found the Haunted Collector themselves. They're just like stashed away, and they're like, if you bring me Poes in a jar, I'll buy them. And I was like, whoa, I have a Poe in a jar. And my Poe was only worth like 10 rupees. And that was kind of disappointing. I lost 2 more times to Zelda Waluigi after getting all this money. I didn't lose the first time. I keep losing on the last time. The one where he's like, if you beat me, you get this horse. And yeah, that was kind of heartbreaking and disappointing and gut-wrenching. But I really thought I couldn't advance without Epona, so I was like, well, what do I do now? So I just wandered around a bit, and I was like, well, let's see if I can even go to Death Mountain. And I went up there, and there was no one really around. And I was like, well, you know, the Death Mountain crater had, you know, that fiery time limit, and you can buy that red tunic. And you can only wear it as an adult. I'm like, that's what I'll do. So I went in there, and there's like bombs on the walls, the Goron's fruit, and you couldn't... I thought it was like a puzzle, because there's the Goron fruit on the wall, and I put a bomb in the middle, and I thought, oh, you gotta bomb them at specific times, and no matter what I did, you couldn't get in there. And then I just wandered around, and there's like a little Goron rolling around at the speed of sound, and apparently you had to stop him with a bomb. And he's like, oh, who are you? My name... I am apparently named after you. I am Link also, the Goron son of Darunia. You're... we call you the Dodongo Buster. And everyone's been taken away by Ganondorf. And there's like this big dragon called Favolgia. And he, as you can see, Favolgia eats Gorons, like Goron Link. And Gorons eat rocks. Intense food chain action happening here. So then he like opens up the shop. He's like, I think there should be at least one Goron hiding in the shop. So you don't really need to find the Goron hiding in the shop. He's just really in the shop. He linked the Goron, opened the door to the shop. So I went down there, bought the red potion, and then I went to the... And then I kind of skipped over that part. He gives you the red tunic. You don't buy the red tunic, which makes me question. Why? What's the point of the red tunic being in the shop? Is it so you just go back to Death Mountain? I'm not sure. So he's like, my dad had a secret passage. Go through there. And then you go through there. And then you meet Sheik. And then she gives you the Bolero of Fire. I think that's how you say it. Bolero. And that area is kind of cool. And you gotta jump through this hole down a ladder. And I jumped through the hole. I caught the ladder on the way down. That was the coolest thing I've done so far. And this whole temple, it's all about freeing Gorons, and they give you keys, and you gotta go around to the next one. It's kind of cool. So you free the first one, and he's like, find a path that leads to the way beyond the ceiling. And Darunia's here, and he's got to find a way to deal with Volvagia. And like usually in dungeons and temples, it's just Link, you know, against the elements, but you got a lot of moving pieces here, you know? It's very interesting. And then you move into this one room, and it's just big magma pieces of platforms, I guess. Just bursting around on the floor, jetting around, and shooting up and shooting down. It's wild to look at, but at the same time, when you just walk or fall into the lava-y floor, it's not really that bad. You can just walk around. Then when you free Goron in there, he's like, the walls sound different if you hit him, or if you put a bomb next to him. And then, oh, I kind of like this room. You had to slide down a log, and then I got stuck in here for a second. But you slid down a log, and then I was like, well, I can't go back. Link would just slide back. And then you're in a big cage, and then you got a hook shot onto the cage, and then climb up it, and then push a box onto a geyser, and then climb up onto the box, and the geyser would shoot you up. And then I didn't have another key at that time, and I would be like, oh, gotta go all the way back. And then I backtracked to play a song to a box, and then that was the first time I saw a like. And I was like, oh, I don't like that like. Smash Brothers Melee knowledge coming to save the day. There's a bombable wall, which I could only know about through the Goron's knowledge. Can't be skipping through text. Mashing A. There's a lot of crystal switches which you could really get past if you put down a bomb and, you know, really ran. I got kind of stuck there because I kept trying to hit it with arrows and running. And then you move into this one room, which was kind of cool. It's like Pac-Man with boulders, and you get like overhead view, and the boulders are moving around. And You free another Goron, and he's like, if you're on fire, you can just stop, drop, and roll. And there's another Goron. He's like, there are walls that fall down on you if you try and open them. And then you enter another area, and it's a fire wave area. And like, you're just running, jumping on top of gates and stuff. And like, there's a mountain of fire just following you. It's like, I really like that part. And then you gotta go back and like climb on top of like the boulder maze part. And then you can also, what I did was I like doubled back, and I somehow sequence broke and got the map in a way I wasn't supposed to, because what you're supposed to do is shoot an arrow in the eye of like, I don't know, like a little button thing. But what I did is I climbed on top of like a gate, like shimmied across. I don't know. And then this one Goron says, if you can't see a place, or if you see a place on the map you can't reach, use your Ocarina. I didn't really follow that hint. Then you bomb the floor, and then another Goron's like, you gotta not use arrows on the dancing enemies. Then there's, oh man, then this area, it's like a fire maze, and then you go through the maze, and then there's wiggly doors that like fall on top of you, and it's like, oh, which ones are the real doors? And then there's boulders rolling around, and once you get through all that, it's like you hit a switch, and then the fire goes out, but only some of the fire. And then once you get past all that, then you run up to the door, and you try the door, and it's one of the wiggly doors, and it smashes you. And it's like, oh, Nintendo, 1998, I see ya, I see ya. You're tricksters. Tricky. I see. You got your tricks. And then through those doors, it was a fiery dancer. But I ran out of bombs by that point. So I was like, what do I do? Am I just supposed to stand there? Oh wait, is that? Oh, not that part. This fire dancer, I was like, alright. Just beat him up with the bombs and stuff. And I was surprised it was a small little vegetable eggplant looking creature. And then you get the Megaton hammer. And it's very small compared to what I thought it was. And like Wind Waker, it's huge compared to you. But in this game, it just looks like a little, you know, for cracking walnuts or something. And in the same room you get it, there's a boulder, and you can't even smash the boulder. Like, what the heck? And then what's supposed to be used for is like smashing like totem poles or something. I don't know. It's a weird item so far. I wasn't expecting a hammer to be the next item. I don't know. It's weird. So then you fight another flare dancer, and that's when I ran out of bombs, and I'm like, should I use Deco Nuts? And they only really work. So that's when I used the hook shot, and that worked. And then What else works? Something else works. Hammer. Hammer also works. Hookshot, I guess, kind of works. And then that's when you go up, and then there's a boss key, and then I wrote as Booski. That's when you get your final Goron, and then by that part, you know, I beat the Flare Dancer, but I'd really wasted everything, or thrown everything at him, so I had to use my last little bit of potion and my last little bit of moo moo milk, and I moved into the boss chamber, and immediately I'm like, this is whack-a-mole. What is this? Why is this boss whack-a-mole? And I went in there, and the dragon like comes up, and you gotta whack him with your hammer, and like sometimes he's just flying around, and the one time he did, like, maybe I wasn't paying attention or something, but he took 5 hearts off of me. I'm not sure what was going on with that, but that was insane. He likes to do mix-ups. I thought that was kind of cool. But he also, like, has, like, this blueness about his head, which I thought I was supposed to be targeting his head. And then, like, the Homerak King in Wind Waker, like, the shell of his helmet would fall off, and then I would be, like, slashing at the inside of his helmet or something, you know, like a second half of the boss. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But then you beat him, and I beat him first try, actually. And then it shows a cutscene, and it's like, Death Mountain erupts. I'm not really sure what that's about. Have to look forward in due time. And then Darunia appears, and in the other world, like the spiritual world, the ghost zone. Where is my notes on that? The void of the realm. The sacred realm. Aha. I knew I had a note on it. The sacred realm. He appears there, and he's like, here's I was a sage, here's a fire medallion. And then that's pretty much it. He calls you a brother. He says bro to bro. And then that's pretty much it. I think that's 2 out of 6. And I checked my Skulltula total, and I have 21. So I think we're doing pretty good. So far, I like this temple. It was pretty good. A lot of good puzzles, a lot of good rooms. Good consistency. Bit of a strange whack-a-mole boss. And I wasn't really... If I could change one thing, I wish I could have smashed boulders with the hammer, but, you know, you can't have everything. wasn't expecting to get the hammer, but if I can make a prediction, since I wasn't expecting the hammer, I'm going to predict we're getting the mirror shield next. Just, I don't know. That feels out of left field. But the hammer seemed out of left field. That's going to be my prediction. Alright, join us next time where I think we're going to be doing... we're probably going to be doing something with the Zoras. This is going to be the water temple next time, isn't it? Oh, it is. Because we did the grass, we did the firework. Next to the water temple. Oh, I see it. And next to the water temple. Oh, you sly dogs. Alright, see you next time. I just figured it out. Alright, see ya.